Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. As I'm recording this video, I can see Bitcoin breaking about 68k. This is a very special moment because if today we manage to break above 67k, we're checking two boxes. We're breaking above the golden pocket and we are also overcoming the point of control of the volume, as you can see here, which is this red line that divides this range in half. Coincidentally, they are both located almost at the same price, and we've been 3 days struggling to get above it. The last time we were here, 3 days were spent and we did 10k to the downside. So could this be the time that we manage to hold above this price and continue our trajectory to higher prices? The market very quickly is reacting. With the exception of a few coins like Link and BCH, most coins are well in the green for the day. And if we were to close the month here, we will have almost undone all the damage of April. This is looking a reversal on the daily trend, as we were saying during the past week as well. During the weekend, there was a formation of a CME gap, but by early Monday, when I was sleeping, it got filled already. That was extremely quick. For CME gaps, you have to be always in the lookout. Just check the CME chart, BTC1 exclamation mark on TradingView, and look at the closing price of Bitcoin on Friday. Wherever the price goes, it leaves a gap. That gap has 90% chances of getting filled. So technically, at midnight on Sunday, you can take a long and go 1% with low risk to the upside. On the 4-hour on Sunday, we broke down on the momentum. This was looking like we were starting to form a channel to the downside. Right now, the 4-hour has 3 hours left to close this candle right above this resistance. If it does, it constitutes a fake out to the downside and potentially making a higher high here on the RSI. I doubt it, but we will have to see if the price manages to get to the area where the short squeeze could initiate. And if that's the case, anything can happen here with the RSI. So I will not try to short this move. That is just too much risk. On the daily, the momentum looks fantastic. We keep doing higher highs and higher lows. We overcome all the levels of resistance and we seem to be due for higher highs. If I see that on the daily anything breaks, you are going to be the first one to know if you're following me on YouTube and also on Twitter. That's the fastest way I can let you know if something changes. My Twitter handle is Trading Parrot. On the daily, the price has overcome this level of resistance. Now there is a fair value gap here at 68.7, and then there's only this one at 72.6 left before we make another all-time high. I remind you that 64 remains an attractive level for a retracement. It's not guaranteed that we're gonna get there, but there is enough motivation for the price to come here. There is a fair value gap, there is liquidity. In fact, it's the highest level of 30 days of liquidity left below the price. So if things continue bullish and we come back here just for a retest, that's going to be considered by many people as a sweet spot for entering late, if the price gives that opportunity. As we mentioned last week, when we only did 2 very light candles from ETS inflows, we now have a third inflow in very light green. Pretty much all sell signals that I have shared the past week are in the process of getting invalidated. Not these ones or these longs here that were very accurate, but these ones here have very little profit with only 2%. The short squeeze indicated by leverage squeeze signals are also about to get invalidated. The drop from the time of the signal was barely 2%, so that does not constitute any sort of long squeeze. In fact, we are kind of doing the opposite here. On the weekly, the stochastic RSI has done a bullish crossover. Pretty much all bullish crossovers in the past year in the whole bull market, even including the ones in the bear market, have been great entry signals. But let's see how high we can get with this weekly signal. On the weekly RSI, what I'm expecting to see is finally the formation of a channel. So far, all we have done is do a falling knife here, and only since the last week we started coming back up. So what I would like to see is this move up of the RSI how high it can get to finally form a parallel channel like this, where we have some lower highs potentially here. I will not expect now the RSI to go back to these levels of 84 or 88. I reserve that for later in the market. But don't get disappointed. If we manage to get to something like 74 on the weekly RSI, that will be enough to get us almost to 74K. So maybe we can even make an all-time high here, complete forming this channel to the downside, and then continue on our way down to retest home for a second time. Bearish divergences on the 4-hour coming from the hive are getting completely ignored. Just to show you a little bit of past performance here, you can see that this one had a drawdown of 2% to the upside, this one never played out, and this one did. So far, the signal is 2% with drawdown, and it only managed to get to 175 in the right direction. The final target was 4%. The fact that the weekly managed to get above the highest close of the previous cycle, that was very bullish, and right now we are above it and pointing even higher. I think this is a good indication that we are going to head at least somewhere around here. And the motivation for the price to continue going right now is because it's got immediate liquidity right next to it. You can see we have already taken some from 67.9 and now we need to drag this to 68.5 just because that is already gone. The motivation to come down below here at 64 is still there. It didn't end up playing out for the price to come and retest that and take the highest level of liquidity of the past 30 days. So we'll see if the price can come here for a retest from how high we are today. As I mentioned, in the past 30 days, 64.1 is the highest level of liquidity to the downside. And looking back 3 months, we have immediate liquidity right below 70K, but the all-time highs and all the way to 80K is packed with liquidity. From far charts, you can see that 70K and the price immediately above us, there's quite a lot of ask in here, but not even close as much as we used to have at 74, 71, and 72 when we were selling down here. 1 million to 10 million wells seem to have been accumulating all the way from 58, and the purple ones that are smaller but tend to lead what the price does are currently buying. Small pockets are currently selling. Guys, if you want to trade on a proper exchange, have a look at the description. I have 60,000 pool for OKX if you use my link. OKX exchange is packed with features, trading bots, and many different products. So if you get the chance to use it, you should be happy. But if not, have a look at BingX. Is also a great exchange. You can consider it if you don't have access to perpetuals on other exchanges. It's very KYC friendly, and even if you can get KYC, you don't have to in most of the locations across the globe, and you can claim up to 6,000 in rewards if you use my link in the description. Also, keep a close eye on the performance of my trading bots. You can copy trade any of my bots using the link in the description. In regards to the altcoins, let's keep it simple. What I do care the most is what Ethereum BTC pair is currently doing. We closed the week holding the support, but with this latest move of Bitcoin, and as you can see, we are starting to be below that level. We do have 1 week to come back above it. If we close below this level, it doesn't need to be by the dollar. We could also consider the support to be the highest close. So all this area here, we are not allowed to go beyond. Of course, this week, the big debate is whether we're going to get an ETF approval for Ethereum. There's very low expectations, and in fact, every day there's less people believing that we're gonna get one in May. So that could be the cause why this is coming down, apart from the fact that Bitcoin is increasing in price, making this pair to continue to bleed. In terms of the Bitcoin dominance, you can see that we made the highest close in the past year. So this is continuing to push higher. We closed the week with a bearish divergence on the weekly, but that gets invalidated if this week we continue to go higher. Both the Bitcoin dominance and the Ethereum BTC pair are, at least today, making it look like the dominance is with Bitcoin. So do not get me wrong, alts can still push during these times, but given that most of the market cap of all crypto is in Bitcoin, we should not expect necessarily from here to see an altcoin season-like move. Yesterday I published a video with good technical looking coins. This is the list that we reviewed yesterday, and so far only a few of them are currently on the way to the target. BTT hasn't done any significant move today, only 1%. Floki has done 4% for the day. MNT barely below 2. On Kaspa, we say that we are going to wait until we retest support, and it has done 2% to the upside. Chromium has done 7.5% from our entry in one day. NEAR is retesting the price, but in terms of momentum is below resistance, so it's high risk to enter with this bounce. STX is today breaking out on the momentum. There's a lot of energy in this pattern. Here are the targets, and if you want to see the rest of the coins and what were the targets, make sure that you watch the video from yesterday. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow.